Investors this morning also waiting the Fed decision on Wednesday. President Trump pushing the central bank to go big this week.
The Fed chairman's incompetent. I think you have a big cut because I don't think he can help with cutting. It's perfect for cutting.
Michael McKee, Bloomberg chief economics and policy correspondent, joins us now. Mike, Trump expecting a big cut. What are markets expecting?
Markets are not expecting a big cut, and the president is likely to be disappointed. However, he is likely to get a cut. It is going to be a very busy week. Today we had Empire Manufacturing post a big loss, suggesting the economy is slowing down significantly, and that could mean more evidence for the Fed to cut rates. But they're already on track. Tuesday, retail sales and import prices will give us an idea of whether consumers are hanging in there and whether foreign exporters are cutting their prices to absorb some of the tariffs. Wednesday is the big meeting, of course, and Thursday, jobless claims in Philly Fed. They could be influential, but the Fed will have already met, so probably not going to matter quite as much. Before we get to Wednesday, though, we've got a lot going on. The appeals court may decide today on whether Lisa Cook can be part of the Fed when the meeting starts tomorrow. The administration has asked for a decision by today. They don't have to, but we could get a decision tonight. And of course, also tonight, the Senate likely to confirm Stephen Myron to the Fed. The Fed meeting begins at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. The decision at 2 p.m. Will there be a cut? Will there be dissents? Plus economic forecasts and the dot plot. Got to stay tuned for that.
I know the Fed is looking closely at the jobs data, and that's why they'll cut. But inflation is still relatively high, right? It's still 50% above their 2% target. 2.9% is the headline number. 3.1% is the core CPI number. President Trump says, first of all, that inflation is gone and it's come down on groceries. But he says housing is the main sticking point. That's the big problem. And he thinks this cut is going to help somehow with housing. How does that work? How does that look to you?
It looks iffy. We're not sure what will happen with housing. But first of all, grocery prices are going back up again, which the president kind of left out of his statement. But with housing, it's the long end that matters because that influences mortgage rates. And the long end has not been, as you know, behaving the same way as the short end. The Fed is the influence for 2 years and shorter. And after that, you start to get into what investors think inflation expectations are going to be. So if inflation is still going up, then we may not see long end rates come down, which may mean you don't see mortgage rates come down. So it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen. It's not a one-for-one correlation.
Well, I know the last time the Fed cut, we had the 10-year actually rise. Mm-hmm. But if we got the long end down and mortgage rates are lower, house prices, I assume, would go higher.
Right, because all of a sudden the people who are locked in their mortgages that didn't want to move might start to move if you get enough cuts, and then there's more demand, and then prices are higher.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch.